Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. President William Ruto attacked Raila Saturday night in the Twitter. And it's a very interesting encounter. I was watching, by the way, the Argentina-Australia game. And I was on Twitter. So there, I saw a tweet by William Ruto, and I decided, oh, let's look at this before maybe we go to bed. By the Kenyan time, it's partly, I think, midnight. So we're doing this video in the midnight. Ruto posted this tweet. Even with the system and deep state, you lost the election. Stop deluding yourself and lying. The coup to overturn the people's will using rogue commissioners. You are now threatening us with mandamano about failed. Their guilt or innocence will be determined by tribunal. Rule of law it is. I'm wondering, that tweet, what is the guilt or innocence to be determined by a tribunal? If you've already called them rogue commissioners, don't you think that how is a tribunal going to table a report to show that the commissioners are unrogue if the boss has already called them rogue commissioners? And I have seen that tweet is really actually President Ruto is now trending. It is in the midnight, and the president, I believe, is still in Sudan, because he was today. He was in Sudan on very Saturday, meeting with the Sudan president, and also parliamentary games have also been going on in Juba. So maybe it was the culmination of that event. But President Ruto was in Juba and met also with Salva Kiir. And people would expect that maybe he will talk about what's going on there, or what that foreign trip has brought back home, as is normally the norm. But then we saw a tweet that sections of Kenyans have ridiculed because of the capital letters, and I don't know, people are trying to trivialize it, that it's not presidential. It looks like a tweet that has been done by a blogger. I think people who handle the executive social media managers, executive handles, need to keep within the professional lines. I don't think that's what the president should be. But then it all depends on emotions in it. So I have realized, because I mentioned that when President was in Ruto, they mentioned there was attack on mandamano, but without clear linking it with what Raila was talking about Cherera for. And Raila also shared another video that I wanted to look at.
Of that for example, in Juja, and let's be candid. In Juja, the total number of votes obtained by all the parliamentary candidates is 85,000. The president has 100,000. Now it means 15,000 people voted for the president and walked away. They didn't vote for the parliamentary candidate. I mean, how is that possible? So we are saying, as the Orange Democratic Movement, that we want the commission to make an announcement on the basis of results that are authentic and that have a basis and that have supporting documents. The commission have told us that they have sent a plane to look for these results. We have been told that it will be ready by about 3 o'clock. We want to verify those things before any announcement is made, because we have figures everywhere, and every other place have figures. Let me finalize by saying all the documents that we have show clearly that Raila Amolo Odinga has 4,215,437 and Honorable Mwai Kibaki has 3,748,261 votes. That is what we have. And if the commission is going to announce other results, they must tell us on the basis of what. And we have pointed to them very clearly. And we thank God that they allowed us last night to peruse the file, because on perusing of the file, it was absolutely clear that announcements were being made here which did not have any basis, because there were no documents to support whatever announcements that were being made. If a figure is going to be assigned to somebody 50,000, you can as well assign him 500,000. Because, I mean, if you are assigning figures without any supporting documents, then you can assign a figure.
Well, so hands off, kila mtu anavuta yake. Do we say half-half, 50-50, so tuende tulale? The bone of contention is now so far getting narrowed to what I have been talking about. That we needed to talk about Mandamano, but connect it with the election reforms. We should be speaking about commissioners and the independence of IBC. Those are the things we should be talking about. We should not be talking about Mandamano standalone. Even though when people get to the streets, it's going to take different shape. People might speak what is paining him or his most. Is it illegal to picket? I don't think. We are all in agreement that what Raila is doing, what Raila is planning, that public gathering, is not illegal. And Ruto seems to have realized that Raila might actually actualize that move, and he's not comfortable with it. So those people who have been saying, and those people were advising Raila that he needs to look for other solutions, should then understand that maybe this is what President Ruto will take. I believe all the other avenues have been there, even the parliamentary way has been there, and even attempts maybe to speak behind the scene. But this one here, I have seen President now talking about it now twice, within 2 days, responding to that issue. But why the late night? This public confrontation between William Ruto and Raila Odinga can scare the public from associating with the Raila's plan. It has a potential because it polarizes the whole. And when you hear President talking, people can shrink, that you never know if he's saying that, then what do you think he's going to do? Is he going to send the police? And it can scare. So it also has that potential. But it could also work on Raila's way, because it gives that gathering a momentum, it gives it a coverage, and so it brings the seriousness in it. A very wild point came through, and I was talking to someone just today, that could it also mean that President Ruto is pushing, also is behind Raila to head to the street, so that he can find an escape route, or rather he can find a very good platform to bring Raila on table. Maybe he wants to talk to Raila and he wants to have a conversation, but there are a lot of safeguards from that, from Mount Kenya. Rigathi Gachagua doesn't want to hear anything deal with Raila Odinga. So someone was also saying, do you think William Ruto is pushing things to the wall, and behind the scene they are finding a reason to bring Raila to table and talk about it? Now, I've realized the debates have been narrowed about the tribunal. So do you think Raila is objecting the tribunal? I think no. If it is about objection of the Cherera issue, he started from the day the petition started. So it can be a little bit shallow for us to make a conclusion that Raila is against formation of a tribunal, because formation of a tribunal is a constitutional way. It's a constitutional move. It's in the constitution, and hakuna mtu anaweza pinga hiyo. But what Raila had been objecting all through was about the process of ejecting Chereras. The position of Azimio, if I'm not wrong, was that they didn't even need to touch the Chereras. That's according to me. I don't think it was never questioned on whether they're being removed because the process is already prejudged. Now, I see a situation where the commissioners might have been, and this would, I would want to borrow this from what is happening with the disbanded SAU, where the members of the disbanded unit were actually claiming that they were forced to implicate Kennedy, to implicate their boss, and they literally declined. So these commissioners might face the tribunal, and it runs a risk of exposing what were deep state efforts by then. I'm so cautious with what really happened. We understand that at the height of the last election, there were reports of Tuju meeting Chebukati, a little bit National Advisory Council, Security Council meeting the commissioners, and those were there. So maybe, I think President will want to expose that so that it will help to show that I won and people wanted to make sure that I get it. Because the problem with the four commissioners, the problem that President Ruto might have with the four commissioners is it is them that they emblem voice of dissent. Actually, if they didn't walk out and go to Serena, maybe we don't be where we are. We'll be having a different, maybe, yes, they would, Tangaza and story would have ended there. But the fact that they walked out with millions, 6.9 million people that supported Raila Odinga, believed with them. So maybe they were told somehow to toe the line. And I see a possibility that they may be told to pass the blame. When you face the tribunal, you relieve yourself of those, pass the blame, maybe fabricating or choreographed narratives on how you did the parallel press conference, what exactly happened. That's what Ruto wants to hear. And not that he doesn't know. That's what I know. Not that he doesn't know what happened. He actually knows what happened. But then, that dossier going to the public will be good enough to push what can be a strategy to bring, to get, to increase legitimacy. Because legitimacy is the question here. It's no longer now about even them, but when they say things that happened, and that is where they are aligned by the line that William Ruto is using is, these are all commissioners that wanted to subvert the will of the people. So they just wanted to know. And so just Nyang'aya has left. I don't know whether the other commissioners are going to face that panel or they're also going to resign. Some might actually survive. Take this to bank. I don't think the four of them might be sent home. Some have a likelihood of surviving because if they were in solidarity, then after Nyang'aya leaving the commission, resigning, even the rest will have resigned. I have seen, who is this? I have seen Gladys Cholet saying that they will face the tribunal, whether the tribunal must do its work, whether they resign or not. I don't know whether after they resign, they can still be interrogated. I don't know whether that is still there. But that confrontation between Raila and Ruto is key. I don't know what's your take. And that's the end of it.